Hi guys, good morning. I apologize in advance. Yesterday for some reason I ruined my voice, but it's going to be okay. And I hope you're going to have a fruitful and meaningful conversations during the day and enjoy this conversation. In a previous life, I would say, I was a teen entrepreneur. And I stayed behind a couple of companies in this space. I started from outsourcing business. And then I turned to media business, and in the very beginning it was media company, but it turned to SaaS after a couple of years. Now I'm talking about intelligent, and we basically built a SaaS platform called Video SSP, which is a sort of a competitor of AdSense in some way. We can actually wage scale, but anyway, we try. So besides, we also with partners founded small pre-seed stage fund called Vonabis, and we fund startups. And as I mentioned before, recently I moved to a government official position as the Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation, and at this capacity, I'm in charge of developing and communicating with IT industry on behalf of the government. So today I'm going to talk about who we are, what do we do, and what we offer to guys like you and to the whole industry. Well, basically, the biggest part of their ministry job is to make all the citizen services online. Just kind of like move everything to the web. But we're not talking about just taking all this bureaucracy and stupid procedures online. We strive to make them simple, transparent, and kind of like what we do is we refactor them. We make a refactoring all the procedures that you face with during interaction with government and make them online. After we understand how it's going to work, but in a better way. That's the major goal of the ministry. But it's not just move online, but it's also make it automatic, because during the interaction, every interaction with the government, you still know on that end, on the back end, there's someone who's processing your data or your request. So we kind of calculated that we can do 20% of all the government services fully automatic. And this is going to be like a big step. It's really huge. So we just eliminate all the, human factor, after all. Another big goal is to cover whole the Ukraine 100% with a broadband internet available in every small village, in every city. So, and we have a couple other big goals, and specifically my goal is to make everything to GDP, IT part, I would say high-tech expert in our GDP up to 10%. Now it's roughly like 4%, so it's kind of like double all the expert incomes and make it 2 times more. So I kind of rely on everyone in this room who's doing something in IT today. So I think you know these numbers, and this is another something that you didn't see before, but now the industry is booming, and part of my goal is to convince people actually who run this country that this is important. This is our future, and one of the priorities that this government has to make is put IT on the first, or at least first 3 things that they develop and they promote more than others. So I would say I'm a country promoter from this perspective, and I would like to make the Prime Minister and President of the country also the promoter of IT industry for the whole world, because I believe this is the future. And I also kind of share this vision that SaaS is a cool model. I totally do. So this is like most essential things that I want to talk with you today. So what we can do? First of all, I want to emphasize that our vision is to make government human-centric. Another thing is to make government as a service. So government as a service, which is quite like software as a service, is our goal. It's not something that punish. It's not something that give you a headache. It's something that helps. This is our goal, to make it, this is the above all. But specifically, for the IT industry and for the product companies, we want to do the following. First of all, we now work on the reform of the taxation issue. So probably all of you know that most of the IT industry registered as private entrepreneurs, and well, this kind of work and this is what made industry grow and make it where at the state where it is right now. But besides that, we know that for some big companies, for some companies that produce product and they want to raise the capital, that might be an issue. So we want to approach you with some, I don't know, couple options and discuss it with you. I know there was a certain frustration about. I think all of you know about offering sort of a group number 5, I would call it, of the private entrepreneurship model in the IT Creative Fund, which we also consider, at this point, we consider this not optimal. So we put this aside, and we work on other things that I think you like better. We totally do not support IT Creative Fund because it's a lot of issue, and believe it or not, as a government official, I still think that government is an inefficient proprietor. So our goal is to make basically everything private. And I'm not a fan of the idea someone, so the money goes to some big fund and then distributed by some people that related somehow to government, even with private companies. So this is not an option. But it's now, I can't say like which model exactly, but I can definitely shed the light on some things like, first of all, we're going to figure out what we can offer besides private entrepreneurship model. We will offer tax exempt for those who invest in IT education, but not in a form of fund. Third, we're going to simplify, and here I'm going to switch to Russian because I don't really know how to say that. Codex законов о труде. We're going to reform this. Gzot. So this is what we work on right now. Another thing that is also very important is to make, because now this conference is about those who produce a product, not just outsource. So I know you guys, intellectual property is important. And it's important to keep it. It's important to, I don't know, to have a perfect place for registration of your intellectual property and have some, I don't know, benefits from that. So we think about implementing something similar called IP box regime. And personally, I'm a fan of Cyprus IP box regime. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that concept, but it's basically like 80% tax exempt on every, I don't know, on the amount of intellectual property that you sold. So you're going to have huge discount if you register your intellectual property here and sell abroad. Another thing is we totally understand that right now we have like 40,000 open vacancies, open jobs requests in Ukraine. Positions, I mean 40,000 positions, IT positions, and our universities and private courses produce like 20,000 people roughly, and this is not enough. So we think, and I'm going to make it short, about doing something very close to H-1B program, like in the United States. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's basically working visas for people who want to move to Ukraine, and they high-skilled IT labor. And another thing, and the last thing, but not least, it's some sort of e-residency. So electronic residency is the ability for the foreign citizen to register as a taxpayer in Ukraine, register his entity, and work with companies inside Ukraine and outside of Ukraine. So basically, you'll be able to hire people from, I don't know, from Moldova, for example, or Belarus, not inviting them to the country, because they're going to have Ukrainian ITIN, tax identification number, and they are going to have Ukrainian bank account. So this is the perfect opportunity to so H-1B, similar program, and e-residency is going to help those who suffer from lack of their skilled labor that they require for their jobs, to complete their jobs. So what are we striving for? On the previous slide, I saw that the industry is booming, and like 25-30%, showing 25-30% growth. My personal goal is to make like 50% growth year over year. We need to benefit from legal jobs. Because as I mentioned before, I don't think private entrepreneurship program is the right thing. So we want to make people attached to company, but by very simple rules, with all respected benefits. And as a government, when you present yourself with the government, everyone thinks you guys are going to regulate everything. You're going to put your hand on everything, but it's not our goal. I just want to emphasize this once again. We have a ministry that take care of the IT industry, but it doesn't mean that our goal is to make so we spend all day coming up with regulations. This is not about that. This is about figuring out what is going on. So we're going to share with you some research. Then we come up with their regulations, basically. And then, of course, consulting with you. And then we go forward. So my goal is not to regulate. My goal is deregulate. And this is actually all. I have still 2 minutes, but thank you for your attention. And I hope this was informative. Thanks again.